What's up guys, Justin here for S&S Archery. Hey, today's gear video, a little bit different. I'm going to give you guys an inside look to all the gear that I'm going to be using tomorrow. I'm headed out on a archery antelope hunt here in Idaho. Some of my items are a little bit wonky, a little bit different than a normal traditional style backcountry hunt. We are hunting off of water holes, so we're going to be hunting out of blinds. So there's not a whole bunch of physical, work going in on this hunt. But these are still some of the items that I'm going to take on the hunt, so I'm just going to break it down, show you guys this. We'll try to get through it as painful as possible. So first and foremost, the pack I'm running is the EXO Mountain Gear. This particular pack is in the 3200. So I went with the 3200 on this because one, I'm not taking a whole bunch of stuff in. I don't need a large amount of food. So that 3200 is still perfect for being able to carry in quite a bit of gear, from my camp to the water hole each day, and then also being able to pack out an antelope as well. So I will dive into the pack first. Start up front. So basically in my front pouch here, I have the TA SLC adapter for my binos, so I'll get into that. Really like this thing, very quick and easy. I also have just a lens cleaner, so this is for my optics, just something handy, something I can get to really quick. As far as in the lid, let's see here, I will open it up, just take it off actually. So in my lid, these are items that I'm going to be getting into quite often, need them fast. So basically I have a stuff sack. This stuff sack is going to be full of, I got my spoons for my meals. I always take two. I'm notorious for losing a spoon or spork on a hunt, so having two is key for me. Camo paint, I'm one of those diehards, no matter what hunt I'm on. I always love camoing my face, just feel like I'm more part of the hunt. Take electrical tape, something breaks, or wrapping your tag around an antler. It's nice to have. In my quick little bag, I've got some aspirin, some ibuprofen, quick knife sharpening tool, just to touch up on the blades, a little bit of toothpaste, and I have a little cut-off toothbrush, and then basically a mixture of AA and AAA batteries. So this can be for my tent light. This can also be for some of my filming microphones, and then also the AAAs are for my headlamp. So always carry in a set for the headlamp. Worst case, or the worst thing ever is shooting something and not being able to find it because you don't have a headlamp. But moving on, I've got a whole assortment of coffee. I do typically use our Tioga coffee. However, I forgot to grab some today, so that's why I have some Starbucks. This guy right here, this is my charging ports, so my little power banks. Depending on what style of hunt, if I'm going on an elk hunt, I'll take one of these. Being that I have the ability to, it's very flat where we're going, I'm going to have two of these. We've got a trail camera set up so we can go back and review our phone, look at all the pictures. So having multiple power banks, keeping our phones charged, using Onyx maps, just helps me keep my phone charged and be able to use that. So I've got two of those in here. InReach, so very important, heading out to the desert, no service whatsoever. So for 4 days, this is how I contact my family, let them know that I'm okay, and hopefully that I got one. Looks like the last thing in my lid is my headlamp. So I just use a black diamond headlamp. Very simple, basic, I think $40 or $50, but super bright. That is pretty much all I have in my lid. I will, on occasion, put a few snacks as I'm hiking. However, this is, I'm in a blind, I'm not going anywhere, so I'll just have those in my pack and break them out when I get in there. Let's look at the tripod that I'm taking in. I'm going to be taking in the Slick 624, very compact, about perfect height for being able to sit in our chairs and glass out the windows. It is the desert, so you can't see a whole bunch of distance. but you still can see. And so I combine that with my TA SLC, and then I will show you my glassing setup. This year I am running the NL Piers, the 10x42 by Swarovski. So I've got these guys, and then so I'm able to glass. I've got this new Kestrel ring adapter that's going to attach my TA Bino attachment to my actual Kestrel so that I can actually use it. Awesome design. These are like 3D printed, fit on the NLs perfect. They're kind of a little funkier grip than traditional binos. So that is my glassing setup. Probably won't take a spotter on this trip. There's a lot of smoke in the area, so just being able to see out, 1,000 yards is all I need. As far as my rangefinder, Vortex 4000 HD, love this thing, works flawlessly. Whether I'm rifle hunting or archery hunting, it's perfect. As far as my Bino harness, I'm using the FHF. Just got it. Used to run one a long time ago. Super excited to be back in one. Just very clean, and I know they work. So tags. So on the front of my Bino harness, I always keep my tags. Just keep them in the little fishing game, little pouch. Just a nice spot for me to know where they're at all the time. I don't have them in a big spot. They can move around. And not that I'm going to use it on this hunt, but I do have some smoke, some wind indicator. Just being able to know where the wind's at. Not so crucial in the blind. Okay, let's go to inside the pack. All right, so we'll start down here. Nalgene Bottle. This is going to be, obviously water. Making any kind of mixed drinks gets kind of bland, drinking water all the time. So I'll mix up, some what do you call it? Hydrate Recovery, some Wilderness Athlete, just something in here. And then also, if I want to, I can drink my coffee out of it. Okay, so my meals. Going really basic this trip. Didn't have a lot of time to go out and grocery shop, get a bunch of snacks. So I'm going all dehydrated meals. So basically peak refuel for my dinners. My favorite is chicken Alfredo. Love it. Yeah, great meals. After X amount of days, it's kind of hard to eat, but going in super easy this trip. So I just wanted to do all dehydrated meals. So I'm going to be out there for four full days, so I'll take 4 meals. And then as far as my breakfast, first thing gonna get in the blind, I've got all of our Alpen fuel that we carry, S&S. So just a nice collection of dehydrated meals. I do have some backcountry bars that I'll throw in as well. And then I am bringing some fruit cups. They are gonna be in my tote, so just something to snack on midday. All right, as far as my pad, I am in a sticky situation. So I went up last hunting season and had a big Agnes, had the whole thing malfunction on me, every single baffle rip. So if you know of a great backcountry pad, something, lightweight obviously, but something very warm, hit me up, give me some insight. For now, I'm just using a Thermarest Neo Air. Just a loaner from my buddy, so nothing too special. We are bringing cots out, so those will be on the 4-wheelers. We'll just park right off the side of the road, but putting a pad on top of the cot is really nice to just keep that cool air off the bottom of you, and then make it just a little bit more comfortable. Pillow. So I'm one of those guys that has to have a decent sized pillow in order to sleep. I'm a side sleeper. I use this X-Ped. It's like the mega pillow. It blows up, but it's got a soft felt feel to it. Very comfortable. Probably should wash it every once in a while, but very nice size, pretty thick. And so for me to lay on my side and have, just not a kink in my neck, wake up every morning is very important. I really like this. Not too terribly big and not too terribly heavy. Baby wipes, very important. If I was going to be on a backcountry hunt, I'd obviously, get rid of it in this particular case and, put it in a little Ziploc bag. But since I'm just hunting the desert, that's what I'm using. Jetboil. So first thing in the morning, heading into the blind, we get in there, having a cup of coffee, and then making our meals, the dehydrated meals. I've always used Jetboil. It just seems to what has worked for me. One little tip, one little trick that I've learned, if you're backpacking and you've got the Jetboil in your pack, a lot of times you're going to hear it that annoying noise. What you can actually do to help this out is I've taken some actual athletic tape and wrapped a couple wraps just around this bottom of the grill part, so it fits down in here really tight so it doesn't rattle on you. Just a little tip. All right, so a footprint. This footprint is going to be served as a shade item for me. If I'm in a situation where I harvest a goat, I need to get some shade, let the animal cool down. I can use some paracord, string it off my blind down to the ground. Just gives me a little bit of protection. Plus I could also, skin out an animal on the tarp itself. As far as my kill kit goes, I am running a mixture of knives. I run the goat knives. I do have an EXO, a Chris Reeves knife, SOL, little hunt giveaway winner, pretty sweet. So I'm taking in, probably more knives than I would actually carry, but I like to be able to use them all and just try stuff. So that way when I'm in the backcountry on a serious hunt, I know exactly, what knife I want to try to use. But I got basically a fixed blade in the Chris Reeves knife, and then I've got a changeable surgical knife here. Really nice for skinning, very sharp. Multiple extra blades, and then just another fixed knife blade by goat. The one thing I will mention about goat knives, they have a multi-tool. Basically, that is kind of the cool thing about with these knives is you get these Allens that come with the knives themselves, and so you can actually use this bottom end of the knife as a repair, a tool basically. So if you ever have anything come loose on your bow, you just throw in the right Allen. Always just keep a little bit of these. You don't have to actually pack a big Allen set, but then you can use your knives to tighten up your stuff. All right, and then paracord, probably 10 or 15 feet, not a whole bunch, but just enough. I do have some gloves. Probably don't think I've ever worn them, but I pack them anyways. Plastic tarp. This is nice to lay down. The desert, it's hot. Blood, flies, everything. Being quick, clean on this lay down tarp is nice. And then the game bags I'm using, I'm still using the Black Ovis sacks. This is their new pro style bags. Really lightweight. Taking in 3 of them. Probably a little overkill for an antelope, but like I said, you can't be. It's just nice to have, lots of areas, stuff to lay down, pack out, just the cape, separate from the meat. Safety kit. So this is just real small. Picked it up at maybe Walmart. It's just got your basic. Let's see. Band-aids, gauze pads, just minor stuff. I've actually probably only dipped into it a couple times for maybe some ibuprofen for some headaches. Sleeping bag. So the sleeping bag that I have for this style of hunt, it's going to be probably 35, 40 degrees out in the desert in the morning, and then upwards of 85 at night, so it's a big wide range, but in the desert it's often very cold in the morning. I'm using a Western Mountaineering, the Terra Light 25 degree bag. It is a nice small bag, compresses down really, really small. Perfect for that temperature. I really like this setup. If I was going into, 20 degrees, 25 even, it's a little close, but for that 35, 40 degrees, it's perfect. So that is pretty much, that's everything in my pack. As far as my bow this year, so this year I'm shooting the Hoyt RX5 Ultra. I have the Tracker 10-inch stabilizer with a quick disconnect up here in the front. I really like this, being able to take it off so my bow fits into my bow case. It's just a little quick, slide it off, and now I can actually fit it in my bow case. As far as my sight, this is kind of a combo between my old Pro sight and our S&S Backcountry Hunter Pro, or our S&S Backcountry Hunter. It is a 4-pin, so I was shooting 5. Didn't really care for that 6th pin way down there. It was really low to my bubble. So I went ahead and just went with 4 pins, so I'm good to 50, and then it's fully adjustable sliding sight. As far as my rest, I'm shooting the Trinity by Hamskea. First year shooting it, I've always shot the tight spot, or the ripcords. Honestly, I love the fact that I can, make micro adjustments. I can tune it. Never have shot in a limb-driven rest before, and I'm very impressed. Really like it. As far as my quiver, I'm shooting a tight spot 5-arrow quiver, matte black. I've shot them for years. Love the quivers. As far as my arrows, this year I am shooting the T64 Easton Full Metal Jackets. So they're 6 millimeters in the front, tapered down to a 4 in the rear. And then I'm shooting a 100 grain Annihilator broadhead. This whole entire setup comes in right at 500 grains. So nice little heavy setup. As far as my release, new for me this year, I'm shooting the Wise Guy, the Rigid Boa by Spot Hog. Never have shot kind of the open style hook, but I absolutely love this thing. Super smooth. Took me one day of just shooting it, and I really like it. I like the bow. I like to be able to cinch it down, whether it's over garments or right on my wrist. Very easy. As far as my clothes that I'll be taking in, crispy boots, Laponias, lightweight. It's going to be hot, so just, all I have to do really is walk out to the blind. I can kick my boots off when I get in there. So a lightweight boot was perfect. Black hat. Try to go all black in the blind. You want to be blacked out as best as possible. I've got some First Light items. I've got a Wick Tee merino t-shirt. Wick hoodie for early in the morning, just until it warms up in the blind, and then I've got some Obsidian merino wool pants by First Light. Lastly, I will take in a beanie, obviously riding around the 4-wheeler if we have to move locations, just first thing in the morning. It could get a little chilly. And then I have the Uncompadre 2.0, like I said, for that 4-wheeler ride, just getting in. Maybe having it on in the blind for just a short bit of time. But hopefully that wasn't too exhausting. That is my gear list for my Antelope Archery Hunt 2021, hunting over water in a blind. If you guys have any more questions or any comments, please feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email. I'd be glad to help, and thanks for watching.